Please see the full disclaimer on your screen before we begin.
Let's jump right into this explainer because we've got a massive, high-yield real estate opportunity to uncover today. While a lot of investors out there are busy chasing after multifamily housing or self-storage, the source material points to a hidden goldmine just sitting there in plain sight, the Midwest RV park market. We're talking about a high-growth asset class with a serious runway, and it's flying completely under the radar. Okay, let's start with a number that completely blew my mind, 88%. A staggering 88% of this entire market is still run by independent mom-and-pop owners. For any real estate investor listening, you already know what that means. We're looking at a deeply established asset class with almost zero institutional optimization. And honestly, this extreme fragmentation is exactly why there is such a major consolidation opportunity. Look at this pie. Corporate platforms have just a 10% slice right now, and major institutional real estate investment trusts, a tiny 2%. It is literally the perfect setup. You can step in, scoop up these underperforming legacy assets, and apply standard professional management practices to drive some incredible value. Now, I know the Sunbelt usually gets all the hype. Everyone immediately pictures snowbirds flocking down to Florida, right? But the Midwest quietly holds an absolutely massive 20% of the national inventory. We're talking about a fifth of all U.S. capacity. It's a region packed with deep-rooted camping cultures and major cross-country transit corridors, totally ignored by institutional money. But here's the absolute kicker for investors. It's the clash between supply and demand. On one side, RV manufacturing is pumping out a super steady 350,000 to 400,000 wholesale shipments every single year. But on the flip side, new park infrastructure is lagging way behind. Trying to build a new RV park from scratch today is a total nightmare. You've got high interest rates choking financing, plus local zoning boards making it nearly impossible. So if you own an existing park, that constrained supply actively protects your occupancy rates. It's a massive built-in moat. So you might be wondering, who's actually filling up all these parks? Well, to figure that out, we have to totally toss out our old stereotypes. If you're just picturing retirees cruising at 45 miles an hour in giant motorhomes, or some chaotic family vacation straight out of a 90s movie, you are missing the biggest shift in the market today. Get this, millennials and Gen Z now make up more than half of all active camping households, over 50%. That is a massive demographic pivot. And they do not camp like previous generations did. They hit the road way more frequently, and they bring entirely different amenity expectations. They absolutely don't want to go completely off the grid. In fact, they're bringing their digital lives right along with them. Thanks to the whole work from anywhere explosion and widespread tech adoption like Starlink, remote workers are literally working from the woods. This is a total game changer because it destroys the old weekend-only revenue model. Parks used to make bank on Friday and Saturday and sit totally empty on a Tuesday. Now, high-speed internet is smoothing out that curve, bringing in elevated midweek occupancy from these remote professionals. Section 1. Asset Types and Risk Profiles. Midwest Geographies. Okay, let's look at how the risk profiles change depending on where you are. It's a fascinating contrast. On one hand, you've got destination and resort parks near places like Lake Erie. The risk there, heavy cold weather seasonality. You have a short window to make your cash, but the upside is premium weekend yields driven by heavy amenities, like water parks. Contrast that with transit corridors along major interstates like I-80 or I-70. Those are pure volume-driven models, highly consistent, catering to commercial road warriors with basic automated check-ins. And then you have a third profile, seasonal and extended stay parks. These are usually near manufacturing hubs, and they cater to traveling skilled labor or pipeline workers. Think of this almost like a mobile home park model. It offers incredibly predictable baseline cash flows with absolutely minimal operational overhead. You've got long-term seasonal contracts, which means your marketing, your payroll, and your reservation headaches basically drop to zero. Section 2. The Value Add Playbook. Maximizing NOI. All right, so how do we actually go in and maximize that net operating income? The source material lays out a very clear sequential playbook. By walking through these 4 modernization steps, investors can efficiently take a sleepy mom-and-pop park and scale it right into a high-yield institutional asset. Let's break down exactly why these levers work so well. Step 1 is an absolute must: upgrading your electrical service to 50 amp power. Look, a lot of these legacy Midwest parks were built decades ago with old 30 amp loops. But today's luxury big rigs, they're running 2 or 3 AC units at a time, and they literally cannot park at your site without 50 amps. Doing this electrical upgrade instantly increases your site revenue because it unlocks those premium nightly rate tiers from luxury owners who will happily pay up for reliable power. Once you've got the power dialed in, the next moves are pull-through pads and utility submetering. Repositioning tight, old spots into premium concrete or gravel pull-throughs makes life so much easier for those high-end travelers who don't want to back up a massive rig. At the same time, submetering your utilities is how you protect your NOI. Instead of eating the cost of rising energy prices, you physically shift those variable water and electric costs directly to your long-term seasonal tenants.
Finally, we get to glamping integration. This is such a brilliant Trojan horse strategy. I mean, how do you capture high-margin revenue from someone who doesn't even own an RV? You drop in luxury safari tents, yurts, or tiny homes. It directly targets that non-RV owning demographic, especially that Gen Z market we talked about, allowing you to command sky-high average daily rates on a tiny physical footprint.
So, pulling all this data together, you can see exactly how this perfect storm forms. We're talking about a deep, established market, holding 20% of the U.S. supply, but 88% of it is fragmented among mom-and-pop owners. Sure, you have to manage the primary risk of cold weather seasonality, but your top value-add lever, those 50-amp upgrades, provides a clear, proven path to unlock premium yields. It's exactly like this quote points out. While everyone else is scrambling and overpaying for fully stabilized assets with compressed cap rates in the Sunbelt, Midwest RV parks are quietly sitting there offering much stronger yield profiles. You're getting higher initial capitalization rates and just massive upside if you deploy professional management. The math simply makes sense. So we've got a massive, highly fragmented landscape, incredible new demand drivers from remote workers, and a bulletproof value-add playbook. With 88% of the Midwest market literally just waiting to be modernized, the only question left is, are you ready to execute the roll-up?